to you. Good question. Yeah.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Let's talk advertising. So Twitter announced that they were going to, or it's been rumored that they're going to release new ad platform in the coming month or so.
Yeah.
What do you think the format of those ads are going to be? Is it going to be sponsored hashtags, sponsored tweets? And how do you think that's going to change like the landscape, the dialogue within Twitter?
So Twitter's on that whole thing of, yeah, we're awesome and we're not making money. You know, the whole thing, right? Saying the Google complex, the Facebook complex, the Twitter complex. And so what the rumor is now, Twitter's coming out with a revamped platform that integrates kind of like a Google AdWords style things. So if you search a term, you can have a sponsored link come at the top type of thing. Now, I know the world was going to end when Google did this and it didn't end. You know, again, you can demand all you want when it's free. You don't have much say to it. The point is, though, to make your users drop out, and that doesn't do them any good. But here's what they're trying to do first. They're trying to make Twitter's web interface better so people who use TweetDeck stop using it. Because TweetDeck, you can't push paid content into unless TweetDeck does it themselves. See the issue here? Twitter loves it and hates the fact that most of their users are using a third-party program to access it because they don't control the interface. So they're coming out now to make, they've already done that with the retweet button on there, which I hate. The lists function. The reason why I don't like the internal retweet function on Twitter is I don't see the retweets when I retweet them. If I see you retweet it through TweetDeck or through your phone, I see it, I'm like, thank you. And I love you for it. But I go back to retweet, I realize there's 65 people retweeted something, I had no idea they did. I like to see it and give credit where it's due and say thank you for doing that, and I lost that. But they also have lists. Lists are cool. I love lists for conferences, South by Southwest. Let's go to South by Southwest. Right. I got a list of people going to South by Southwest. There, how are you, man? Going to South by Southwest, and what happens if you want to use it for conference, here's how I use it. Okay, I'll follow a hashtag for a conference, or I'll create a list, and I'll follow people in that list more closely and start talking to them more because I want to see them in person. Hey, I'll see you at South by Southwest. I think I got the same as probably most of us here. I got like 375 people I have to meet now at South by Southwest. I'll see you, right? I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I want to talk to them because for me, Twitter has changed conferences. Anybody else here? Twitter's changed conferences for me. It's no longer showing up in the place like, hi. It's like a high school dance at a different high school that you've like never been to and you're in grade 9. Hey, dance? No? Okay. So you go to the networking event and all the cliques form, right? The jocks over here, the geeks over here, and all the people, right? So they all form up. Twitter allows me to say, I'll see you there. And you see something, again, reason for a face pick. You see them at the event, you recognize them. Reason for using a face pick from this decade. Okay, so who are you? No, you're not that person. I have them on my phone. That's not you. That's a hell of an angle. No, okay, so. And then during it, you find out what people are doing, where they're going, and they're looking for you. And then afterwards, I love it post-conference. Because now once you've met them in person, it changes the relationship online. And that's why I love it. So I love the new improvement from lists. I don't like the retweet, but they're going that level for it. So the long freaking winded answer for you is that I see it as a kind of a Google paid results. I don't know much about it. Again, hashtags is what's searchable. Searchable will have paid results. I don't like it, but I don't pay much for it. So I can't complain about it too much. That's why I didn't create a Facebook group and changing retweets and stuff like that, because it's not mine.
I assume you track your tweets. What do you use for the analytics?
I use for links, as far as click-throughs, I use Bitly, just because it's defaulted in TweetDeck for me. I found it easy. I don't use Hootsuite. I hate Hootsuite's frames. If you use Hootsuite, it sends you to a frame. It's got that frame on the top, like from 1997. Frames. What's last time I saw frames? They're back. Yay. It's like 80s fashion. Don't come back. So there's a frame at the top. The problem is if I serve from one page to the next, and I go to refer them from a link, it goes back to the first page. It's like hostaging my window. That's why I don't like Hootsuite. So I bitch about it all the time. So I use Bitly. I used to use Trim because it was one character less in the URL, but then they stopped working. I'm going to screw a bunch of my links. They're back now. Screw me once, that's it. I'm not using it now. So Bitly, I just track out great analytics, great stats, and everything. So that's what it is. Yeah?
Are most of your contacts Canadian?
Are most of my contacts Canadian? No, they're mostly American. But it's also like my client ones too. They're mostly American. I literally on Twitter for the first like 6 months, I knew nobody in Toronto. I was huge in Milwaukee. Huge in Milwaukee. I go to Albuquerque, none. 100 people to tweet up in San Diego, whether last year. Vegas, 100. San Diego, 100. I knew 4 people in Toronto. So I forgot the best way for social media, seriously, I've realized, is local. People actually avoid social media because they say they're local, meaning my business is local, so the world doesn't matter. No, that's the best way to use social media, because then you can heighten. Don't let Twitter be the be-all, end-all. You got to take them to the next step. Twitter's a great first step. It's not the end. Right? That's a huge thing. I love Twitter because it's really transparent that people are like I thought they were, for the most part. Not all of them, but for the most part, it's very much I thought you were cool and you were in person. Right? So yeah, locally, but I'm expanding locally because you're all here. So. I never would have had people come, for the most part, to any session I do with Momentum if I didn't have the local-based Twitter. But I focused on finding more people in Toronto. That's what I had to actually take that step and do it. So I use a site like Twitter Grader to find the top used people in Toronto. I use Twello, the Twello pages. It's called Twello.com. You can search under geographic area or interest. Find people. I find people with my hobbies. My hobbies are Vegas. And so I found people like that. So we got to know each other. So I had to actually make an effort to find local people. Oh, also, I'd find somebody who's good locally and I'd see who they were following. Creepy.
Yeah.
But it works. That's how I do it, right? I go and say, who are you talking to? I look at your stream and say, well, if they're enjoying the conversation, I might too. Right? So it's very focused on what I was doing. Good. Again, thank you so much, guys. And we'll